What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Boston Celtics, and we're going to be talking about why they shouldn't trade neither Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum. And we're going to jump right into the video. Now, looking at the Boston Celtics this season, they're finally back over 500. They're 23-22 on the season. They won 7 out of their last 10. And in the month of December, and this momentum has carried over into January, they've been playing some really great basketball after getting off to a very terrible start. And in that terrible start to the season, it just seemed like, nobody was on the same page. And it seemed like the coach was on the same page with the players, and it didn't seem like the players was on the same page with each other. And then after that, terrible start, they got hit with a couple of nagging injuries, and then the COVID bug hit. So, this Boston Celtics team have been through a lot this season, but it seems like they've found their stride, and they're starting to, win some basketball games. They're starting to look like the team that I thought they were going to be, coming into this season. So, as you guys know, man, we're coming up on the halfway mark of this season, which means that the trade deadline is coming up, and I'm pretty sure Brad Stevens got multiple GMs calling his phone about Jayson Tatum and Jayson Brown. So, in this video, I'm telling you why, he should keep his hands on both of those guys. So, the first thing when it comes to Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, especially as a duo, they're both very, very young basketball players in this league. I know it feels like, they've been in this league for a minute. They're so good that it makes us think like, they're veterans in this league, but they are still puppies. Jayson Tatum, 23 years of age. Jaylen Brown is like in his teenage years as far as the NBA. He's 25 years of age, but both still relatively young. And I think the expectation on these two guys as far as winning the championship is way too high. And I'm not saying that they should go out there and be content with losing, but I'm just saying, like, these guys are so young, and I'm pretty sure neither one of those guys they're not in their prime. So they usually hit your prime around 26, 27 years of age. And both of these guys still have so much room for growth and so much room for development, especially Jayson Tatum. He has so much room to grow, not when it comes to skills. Like, his skills, he's one of the most skilled players in the league, but I think Jayson Tatum has so much room to grow when it comes to mentality. Like, as far as, hitting when he should drive to the rim, or when he should take, those crazy, off the dribble jumpers he be taking. Like, once he grow in that area, he's going to be one of the best players in the NBA when he gets his shot selection under control. And then, like I said, Jaylen Brown is only 25 years of age, and we see him get so much better and better every year. It really makes, it makes no sense how he just keeps improving every year. So that's one factor. And then, like I said, even though they're young guys, they've shown success in the playoffs. We've seen these guys as puppies win playoff series, and building up that type of experience at a young age is going to make it so much easier and so much smoother for them when they do get into their primes. Like, we've seen them pit the 76ers with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons out of the playoffs a couple of times, and then we've seen them in 2018. They got all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie Irving against LeBron James. It took LeBron James going on one of the greatest playoff runs in NBA history, to knock those young guys out of the playoffs. And that series was crazy. Jayson Tatum probably got one of the most iconic dunks of all time. He posterized LeBron James, and they were all yelling in his face. And I ain't gonna lie, at that moment, I thought LeBron James' reign in the Eastern Conference was over, but it wasn't. So we seen this team, well, not this team, but these two guys be successful in the playoffs with each other. And I'm pretty sure back then, Jaylen Brown was not the player that he is today. So that's the second factor. And then the third factor is this. Their duo is like the best recipe for success, in the NBA when it comes to winning championships. They have two dominant two-way wings. Both those players, Jayson Brown and Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, are both very good two-way players. Jaylen Brown is probably a better defender than Jayson Tatum, but Jayson Tatum can still defend. I'm pretty sure, when Jayson Tatum, when he plays the 3 spot, one of the best defenders in the league, when he's guarding a perimeter player. I don't really like Jayson Tatum banging, down low and low post defense. I don't feel like he excels in that area, but perimeter defense, Jayson Tatum, you know, he shows up and he brings it every night to wherever he's guarding. He's a really good defensive player, and then we all know what he is on the offensive side of the ball. One of the smoothest jump shots in the game. He'll dunk on you if you have to. He can finish with both hands, tremendous footwork. And then Jaylen Brown, like I said, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. If he's not guarding the best player, Marcus Smart is. You know, that's how good of a defensive player he is. But, you know, his offensive side of the game, the way he's improved since he came in the NBA, very, very impressive. Three-point shot has improved. Shot creation has improved to a whole nother level. He can create himself. He doesn't need a screen. He doesn't need a backdoor cut. He can create any shot he wants for himself, and then we all know how he attacks that rim. He attacks that rim with tenacity and ferociousness. He's just he's a really, really good, he's a really good driver of the basketball. So they have two-way wings. Any team will kill this man. We've seen, this recipe with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Not that Curry is a two-way player, but he's a wing. LeBron James and D-Wade. We've seen it with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, just, two wing players that can play offense and defense, that can dominate on both sides of the ball. And I feel like the Boston Celtics have that in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I don't think you should break that up, especially when we haven't even seen these two players at their ceilings yet. And Jaylen Brown has been on the record saying that, he's on the same page with Jaylen Brown. He think it can work. With Jayson Tatum. He thinks it can work with Jayson Tatum. And since he said that, the Boston Celtics have been a much better team. They've been winning a bunch of more games. So, that's that. Now, I didn't say that the Boston Celtics shouldn't make any trades at the deadline. I think at the trade deadline, they definitely should be shopping. I think the Boston Celtics, I think they need two things. I think they need one more wing shooter. We've seen players on their bench struggle with their three ball this year. I think they should look to find. I think they should look to find a shooter to come off the bench. Maybe a player like Buddy Hield. I feel like he would be great for the Boston Celtics off the bench. He's a marksman. And then I also think they should be shopping for a point guard. As good as Dennis Schroeder, as good as he's been playing recently, and as good as he looked, I feel like the Boston Celtics should be focusing on optimizing Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I think to optimize them is to get a floor general on the floor, and not just a guy that can just pass the ball, but also score when needed to. I think of guys, and somebody like Chris Paul or Ricky Rubio has showed the ability to score and assist for guys this season. Or if they can find somebody like to just play like Darius Garland, like just get guys involved, and then if they given the opportunity to score, I'm not saying that they're going to get Darius Garland or Chris Paul, but somebody that plays similar to those guys, a budget point guard that they can get that plays similar to those guys, and pit Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum in the right spot. So, that's that. And it hasn't all been negative for the Boston Celtics this year. Even though they got off to that rough start, they've always maintained a top 10 defense in the league, which is really good. I've seen some really great play from Robert Williams. He's probably my favorite player on this team. The way he blocks shots and catch lob is just energizing. Would love to go to a Celtics game. And then Josh Richardson, he's really picked it up. In the month of December, he averaged 13 points per game. And then he also shot, his momentum carries into January. Right now, he's shooting 50% from three in the month of January. So he's been really impressive. So I think the Boston Celtics, even though they're in the 10th seed right now, only 4 games away from the 4th spot, and that team is the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, the Boston Celtics have a very friendly, string of games coming up that they have a bunch of winnable games. So I wouldn't be surprised if we seen the Boston Celtics somewhere in the top 16 in the Eastern Conference over these next couple of weeks. So we're going to keep our eye on that, man. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below if you think the Boston Celtics should keep or trade the two superstars, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. And then subscribe for more weekly content. We make different NBA content all the time. And, it's always a natural perspective from over here. So, that's curtains.